It's time for the Terry Sullivan Show. Today's guest, from Flurry's Market and Provisions, Clayton Flurry. And now the man of many means, and by that he means to give me a lot of grief. It's Terry Sullivan.
You know, I thought once we got out of 2022, you'd stop all that nonsense, all those dumb one-liners. But here we are, 2023, starting the year off with it. I thought you'd grow up by now, but absolutely not.
No. It comes easy.
Hey, did you have a good New Year's?
We had an awesome New Year's.
You and Paula had some time together?
We had a lot of time together. She took a little time off work, and we just chilled out.
You went to, now you were, the last 2 or 3 weeks, you went to California and Vegas and performed out there?
Yeah, we were in California. Before that, we were in Vegas for the National Rodeo Championship Finals.
That's a big deal out there.
That's a very big deal. There was a lot of people out there.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
Well, it's good to see you.
It's good to be back. Good to be back.
Yeah, I missed you over the holidays. I didn't mean to say that, but Clayton, this little tune that he just played is, he wrote that for the show, and he came up with this name called the Sullivan Shuffle.
It's got a good jingle to it.
Yeah.
The name could use a little tweaking. You know, it's not the best in the world, but, you know,
I've told
I like it.
Well, thank you for your honest
like it.
opinion. We're going to have to change the name. Clayton Flurry says it sucked.
No, I'm just going to change it. I'm going to change it to what's in a name.
Clayton Flurry is my guest today. I've looked forward to having him, and we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. I got a lot of dirt on him. I talked to his wife, Katie, before the show, and I said, Katie, I don't need all the good stuff because there's too much out there about him. This is all a lie. I didn't talk to Katie. Nice to have you.
It's great to be here, Terry.
Nice to
Very
have
good
you.
to be here.
Man, you are growing like crazy, and we're going to talk about that. And popularity's just off the charts in Denton County, and you had a great Christmas, great December.
We did.
Before we get into that, let's talk a little bit about your family. You got a wife, Katie.
Yes.
And 2 kids.
3.
3 kids.
And a dog.
And a dog.
A lot of mouths to feed at the Flurry household.
So you have how many boys and girls?
2 boys and 1 girl. And she's my oldest.
Is she the hot sauce on your taco?
Whoo, man. Probably shouldn't answer that.
Well, the girl, I had 3 boys and a girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when my girl came along, I just forgot my boys. I mean, you know, they just were on their own. And she was no trouble until she got 13. And then the 3 boys were no trouble.
Yeah.
Except for that 1 girl.
Yeah. I've kind of found the opposite. It's interesting, but she's kind of the dependable one, and the other 2, on the other hand, are more like myself when I was their age.
What does that mean?
Well, let's just pray that they stay out of the headlines as they continue to mature.
Well, let's do hope that. Now, you and Katie have been married for how long?
Oh, almost 18 years.
18 years.
Yeah.
She is a wonderful person.
She is.
Yeah, met her once or twice, but just supports you like crazy. I mean, she's your biggest fan, as she should be, but it's not always that way.
Yeah, you know, we've made a big change in our life, and she's been right there lockstep along the way, hasn't looked back, and the days that I'm just really slugging and dragging, she's there pulling and pushing.
So, Clayton, now you've got 1 year behind you, and let me clarify who I'm talking to. I'm talking to Clayton Flurry at Flurry's Market and Provisions, owner of Flurry's Market and Provisions in Flower Mound. You've got 1 year behind you.
1 year.
Those first years are tough, aren't they?
You know, I did not know what to expect, and looking back, I'm still not sure really what happened.
Yeah.
Other than it's been quite a ride, and here we are, a new year, and we're looking forward to seeing what is ahead of us this year.
Well, I mean, that first year, you make so many changes.
Yes.
because you can't architect it out and blueprint it, and it just happened that way.
Correct.
You can do that, but then come all of the, uh-oh, I didn't know this, and uh-oh, I wish I'd have known this, I wish I hadn't have done this.
Oh, yeah.
Before you got into business for yourself, what did you do?
I was in a whole different industry, nothing to do with food service or food retail. I was in the energy business for close to 20 years. Loved it, still have a passion for it, but I've set that aside, and my focus now is this business, Flurry's Market. And so completely different from what I'm doing now.
And we're going to get into what all that means, because it's quite a place over there. But what did you do? I mean, did you just wake up one morning and look over at Katie and say, we're going to open up a meat shop? How'd that process?
Almost that simple. I just, in the energy business, it's very volatile, and in my position at the time, very uncontrollable. Your destiny, if you will. And I just always knew that there needs to be, or I always felt this sense of needing a little bit more control, a little bit more of say, if you will, and if it fails, it's on me versus the big company, the guy at the board in the boardroom that I've never met. And just, I've always thought there's something that is out there that would suit, the gifts, the talents that God's given me, that would give me some of that control, if you will. And I never knew it would be a meat market.
But how did that come up? I mean, do you have no background in butchering?
No, I don't. I was blessed in between college and the service to work in a meat shop for a summer, and fell in love with that process and the customers and the camaraderie that comes with the team you're with every day.
Sure.
And then through college, I worked in a prep kitchen, and so got a feel for that. And again, more camaraderie. It's a different space, a different feel than your corporate world out there. And that's really the only talents that I have outside of the corporate energy space is food.
Yeah.
Back in my teenage years.
But Clayton, look, the food industry is a difficult industry. I mean, it's rare for anyone to jump into it who hasn't failed many times at it and learned along the way in order to be successful. But here you are, no experience. You open up this shop with very little experience, and you've had an incredible year. I mean, I know you probably look at a lot of components in 2022 and you go, gosh, what did I do? What am I doing? But here's the deal, from people looking from the outside in, they see you as must having a magical ball because you have done so many things right that it's difficult to do right without years of experience of doing wrong. And you've done that. I commend you so much because you've just built a great business in 1 year.
Well, I appreciate that, especially coming from a seasoned vet as yourself. When I first got my big boy job in the energy business, I walked in day one nervous as nervous gets. And I had to remind myself that I don't have to know everything. And I learned along the way over 20 years in that industry that you still don't have to know everything. The ad is surround yourself with people that are smarter than you. Mm-hmm. And so I knew going into this, there's a big risk that I don't know how to do everything, but I do know, and I have learned through my life, you don't have to know everything. Get the right people. Mm-hmm. I'm not a butcher, so I need a butcher. I'm not a fishmonger, so I found a fishmonger too, to be exact. And when I say I found, they came in my life, prayerfully. And, I don't know how to run a kitchen. The right people came through my life. And so it's just orchestrating that and being there as a part of that team that's really just, it's made it work.
So they came into your life. That tells me, because I know you're a wonderful Christian man, wonderful Christian family, that tells me that you and Katie spent many hours on your knees praying for what you don't have, and God opened the door and brought people into what you needed.
You bet. I felt that the doors were closing in my prior work life, and we prayed for new doors to open. And when this was a brainchild concept sitting on the couch in November of 2020 after church on a Sunday in my daughter's purple spiral notebook. You know, Lord, is this what we're supposed to do? It just continued to go and go and go as if, yes, this is right and this is what we're supposed to do. And going back to my daughter that we spoke about earlier, I'll never forget the decision point. One Monday or Tuesday morning, I looked at my family, about to head off to my corporate job, and I said, I got to make a decision. Do we want to do this or not? And it was my daughter that looked at me and said, you got this, Dad, you should do it. And here we are. And so I remind her on my worst of days, it's because you encouraged us. But no.
That's funny the way God works, though.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that funny the way that God many times speaks to us through our kids?
Oh, yes.
And you have wisdom enough to listen.
Oh, yeah.
And respond properly. Yeah. So let's go back to the early days.
Okay.
Let's go back to when you were building this space out.
Mm-hmm.
What were the challenges?
Oh.
So let's think that we're talking about guys that are exactly where you are, or exactly where you were, that are thinking about going into business, not a lot of knowledge, have no idea once they turn that corner, have no idea what's on the other side, and it's going to come at them. Let's try and help them. Building out your space, what were the challenges?
It almost seemed like everything was a challenge, Terry. And the only advice that I could give, not that you asked for it, but I was blessed that, and there's so many divine things that came through this process. I literally had one general contractor that I'd used in the past, whole different ventures, to build out this space. And it wasn't until one day I joined this group that takes the crosses down from the mound at Flower Mound after Easter, the Summit Club. Mm-hmm. And something I'd always wanted to do, and I just happened to go that day, and I got there a little early and got to talking to a gentleman in the parking lot. And long story short, he became my general contractor, who has sat on the Flower Mound Town Council. So has his business partner. Mm-hmm. I had met at the time then candidate Mayor Derek France. Mm-hmm. You know, it was just that one meeting changed so many things, and the whole point of this was I was then presented with two general contractors sitting there that were partners that were very familiar with the inner workings and such of who you need to get permits from and how this needs to go, the fire marshal, you name it. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if this would have gotten off the ground had it not been for those guys, mm-hmm. because there were so many roadblocks that I think anybody from the outside, if you will, would have just said, hey, it's not doable, or it's doable, but it's going to take us a long time. And you know time is money when you're trying to put something like this together. Mm-hmm. So having the right people on your side from the beginning, I think is very important.
But you're very magnetic, though. I mean, you draw people to you. You don't have to be around you very long where people go, I want to be around that guy. You know, you have that spirit in you, obviously comes from heaven, comes from God, but you have that way of bringing people into you to help you along the way. How many days did you go home during those early processes? How many days did you go home and you just shaking your head and Katie's saying, we can do it, we can do it, we can do it?
Almost every day.
Yeah. Almost
every day. There were days where I just wanted to give up.
Yeah.
There were days I just wanted to give up, but then when we had a victory, it just made all that go away. Mm-hmm. And you just knew, again, the doors continue to open, you know, and you know, my mom recently reminded me that the Lord's never going to give you more than you can handle, mm-hmm. you know, and it's easier to remember than not, but it was quite the process, Terry. One that I've learned a lot, mm-hmm. one that if I were to do it again, I think I could save a lot of money, mm-hmm. you know, save a lot of time. Mm-hmm. All of whatever's in our control, but it's been a great process.
Now your family has been Katie's family. How about your parents?
Yes.
Has all of your family been behind you 100%?
100%.
Mm-hmm. I met Katie's father when I was out there not too long ago, and what a great guy he is, and I think that he's helped you greatly. And
oh yes.
And you need that. So let's talk about. Let's talk about what you offer. Now, you're a butcher shop.
Yeah.
And you offer all kinds of meats that you cut in-house and seafood. It's a beautiful place. I walk in there and I go, where am I? Am I at a butcher shop? Or am I at an upscale retail store?
Mm-hmm.
But the meats are absolutely phenomenal. So let's talk about that. Tell me what you offer.
You know, when we got real active when this became a reality, we're going to do this. We became real active in the local chamber in trying to get the word out of, hey, Flurry's Market's coming, and no, we're not a yogurt shop, and no, we're not a, you know, an ice cream shop. It always ties with the Flurry's, and you know, being our last name, it naturally goes with naming the butcher shop. And as we would describe it, people would go, huh, kind of like a Cracker Barrel. And I said, no, not really like a Cracker Barrel, but I guess we could assume that. And I think that always ties in because we have this little gift shop over there that my wife runs. But we're primarily a meat, specialty meat, and seafood shop. We do serve a lunch through our kitchen. We've got some great sandwiches we offer, and that menu's evolved over the entire year we've been open. And it will continue to evolve as our guests speak up. You know, hey, I like this, I don't like that. But
now on the kitchen side, Clayton, you actually, everything is fresh.
Correct.
I mean, whatever sandwiches you offer, like what?
Oh, everything from a Reuben to a shrimp po' boy, you name it.
You take it off your meat market.
That's
you
correct.
cut it, you cook it, you serve it.
That's correct. That's the whole genesis of this concept is we're a fresh meat market, and oh, by the way, I already have these meats. Let's serve them warm too. Let's prepare these, you know, and give the customer a chance to see what it really can be, you know, behind a knife and a stove, and you push it out. And you know, we have hamburger patties, we have brisket burger patties. Why not heat them up and sell them that way?
Yeah. Yeah, and you grind it yourself.
Oh yes.
I mean, you take the meat, you grind it, you patty it.
You bet.
Woo-hoo!
Some of the freshest meat in town.
Oh, I hear it all. I hear it everywhere. I mean, I hear, you know, at the barbecue restaurant, Sullivan's Barbecue, we have people come in all the time that talk about Flurry's.
Oh.
And they talk about those sandwiches. They talk about how fresh it is. They talk about a lot of stuff. Equally so, they talk about the hospitality. Now, I've been in your shop, and you know, I'm very big on hospitality. I think it's a lost art in every kind of industry on the planet. We've gotten so technologically advanced that you don't talk to people, you talk to machines. I have a deal about that. But I walk in your shop, and from the time you walk in to the time you pick up what you want, you pay for it, you leave, it's like coming to your kitchen at home. It's very hospitable.
Well, that's intentional, Terry. We actually we set this up like any corporation would. We have a mission statement. We've got core values. We've got a vision. But our mission at the very top has nothing to do with, you'll never find the word quality in it. You won't find the word meat in it, or gifts, or seafood. Our mission statement, you can find it on our website. It literally is about service. Every time, to everyone. Not just to him, not just to her, not when I feel good, not only on Saturdays. It's when we're there, we're supposed to give you the best.
And you do.
And that's our goal.
And you do. I mean, it's amazing. And it's day in and day out.
Yes.
Just like you just said, it's not just a once in a while deal. But every time you walk in, if you walked in there 5 different times on any given day, you're going to get the same hospitality. It's a lost art, and you've got that. Well, I don't know if you've got it, but Katie's got it.
I tell you, that team does a great job. That team does a great job. You know, we all, as humans, walk in the door carrying various things in our lives, and it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy. Just being happy in general on your own some days, much less stepping up outside of whatever's going on in your life and caring for someone else that you don't know.
Yeah.
Someone that may walk in with so much baggage, they come in wanting to pick a fight.
Yeah.
That's where the best of the best come out. And my team, you know, and my wife and her team, they really step up to the challenge.
You know, I feel the same way. When people come to our restaurant, I train my staff that when they walk in the door, they're going to feel safe.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of evil outside these walls that people have to deal with. I mean, drugs and alcohol and marriage problems, kid problems, job problems, single moms, single dads. There's so much going on in the world. So when they come in, I want them to know, first of all, that they're safe. And secondly, you don't know them, but we don't care.
Yeah.
We're going to love them.
That's right.
Because everybody needs to be needed.
That's right.
Everybody needs to be loved.
That's right.
And that's what we're going to give them while they're here. The food is always going to be great, but we're going to give them those things that they're not getting outside those four walls. So I come in your store. Well, before I get there, thank you for my hat.
Very welcome.
I love my hat. Y'all see that? I got a Flurry's Market hat. I love it. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
And another thing I want to tell you is if I did a show in shorts, people would take one look at it and say, I ain't watching that. I ain't watching that. I hate guys, Trey. I hate guys that's got good-looking legs.
You jealous?
Yeah. I can't wear shorts.
You know, Terry, it throws my guests for a loop because I usually wear an apron with, this is what I wear to work.
Yeah.
And hallelujah, it's amazing to get to wear shorts to work.
Yeah.
But I also wear an apron. So it looks like I don't have really anything on up front.
Well, that's a vision I didn't need right there. We're gonna roll with it. So I walk in your shop, and you've got every kind of meat, steaks, hamburger, chicken. Tell me all of your offering, or as much as you can.
It's amazing. I'm looking back at numbers last year and SKUs and what we carried, and I'm still scratching my head on how much stuff we have. Mm-hmm. You know, just in bacon, I've got 5 to 6 different options. We just added a beef bacon, a Wagyu beef bacon.
Wait a minute. Now listen, you could tie bacon around my shoe, and I'd eat the whole shoe.
Oh, yeah.
I wish I didn't know that, because I love bacon. So what are the options?
I've got a jalapeno bacon, a maple pepper bacon.
A maple pepper. Did you hear that? A maple pepper bacon.
I've got a couple of different types of smoked bacons, and this new one we're smoking in-house. We're trying to get our smoke game up a little bit, but it's a Wagyu beef bacon. It's phenomenal. It's really good.
I've never had that.
And so we've got so much stuff, and the challenge for us is where do you stop? Because what I've learned, and you can just see it through pre-orders and stuff that we get, it's such a melting pot Flower Mound area is. Mm-hmm. And when I say you can see it through pre-orders, just through the area codes in these people's phone numbers, our guests' phone numbers. Yeah. And so you've got the East Coast and the West Coast, and outside of the country, they want Brazilian sausage and this type of fish and this type of that.
Right.
And us being the pleasers we want to be, it's a challenge to say, I can't do all of that because I have to bring in 80 pounds of it for your one piece. And that's, if you look back, it's like we carried so much stuff.
Yeah.
And we finally have pared it down now to where I personally feel that we've kind of found this happy medium where, hey, I don't have this specifically, but I have this as an option.
Yeah.
And that's all categories. That's seafood, beef, pork, chicken, you name it. Yeah.
And you also serve a variety of sausages, and Bobby Cuban makes your sausage. He makes my sausage as well, and he's the best.
He is the best.
He's the best.
Yes.
Knows what he's doing. Comes from an engineering background, so everything's very scheduled out. But you're doing well on selling sausage.
You know, I found him through you. Someone on social media was bragging about some of his product, and I chased him down and learned that he was over here. I said, if he's over here, he's going to come over, Lord willing, and him being willing, come over and help us out, and he has. And we sell out almost every single week. The sausage that he prepares.
Well, it's just great sausage.
It is.
I would never go back to where I was, and he's a great guy.
Yes.
Yeah. So when it comes to grades of beef, are you selling prime? Are you selling choice? What exactly are you selling?
You bet. We start at choice. Every so often we'll bring in a select tenderloin for specific needs, but choice, prime, and Wagyu, which is, I guess, not a recognized grade, if you will. We don't really do anything in the no-roll space, the ungraded. However, there is some really good meat out there, some really good quality meat that's ungraded. But we focus on that upper 2/3, upper 1/3 choice and prime. Our customers really like that prime market.
Yeah. On the Wagyu, a lot of people don't know a lot about Wagyu. Explain that.
Japanese cow. You know, that's what that stands for.
Well, what's the difference between Kobe and Wagyu?
Great. Well, we don't sell either. the Wagyu we're selling is all domestic, all Texas Wagyu, if you will.
Okay.
Which is primarily what everyone's consuming around here. That's called Wagyu. There's some really good Texas Wagyu, Rosewood being one of them. Here local, the Hunt family.
Yeah.
They've got a really good Wagyu program that we use and our customers have grown to like. You know, Snake River Farms, to name a few, Hart brand. Those are all great product that we like to use. You know, Wagyu just seems to kind of be the thing. People want to come in. I've had customers, and I don't have it. I ran out. Customers come in, and if I don't have it, they leave.
Yeah.
That's what they're looking for.
So they won't settle for the prime. Is there, in your opinion, is there a huge difference between Wagyu and prime?
Depends on the cut, honestly, in my opinion. But I'm just a good old choice boy. You know, when it comes, and I'm a tenderloin steak guy. I'm not really a ribeye or a strip or any other center cut. I like a tenderloin, and I'm going to save my money, and I'm going to get me a good old choice steak.
Well, if you get into the upper third and the upper 2/3 choice, it bumps that prime line, and it's every bit as good without paying the price.
You bet. There's days that everyone's coming in and just oohing and awing at the block because we cut a choice tenderloin and it looks better than prime, if that is such a thing.
Well, I dropped by there last week, and you were so busy. I mean, I dropped by on Saturday because we were closed between Christmas and New Year's. And I walked in, and people were everywhere. I'm thinking, good heavens, this place is busy. I mean, they were everywhere. You were behind the meat counters, and I didn't want to bother you. I should have, but I didn't want to bother you. But I went and looked around at the meat, and I saw the upper third ribeyes and the upper third strips. And my goodness, I looked at that, and I thought, wow, the marbling in that steak looks like a prime.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, we get surprised. We get surprised a lot at, you know, and sometimes as a business owner, but I mean, you want the best for your customers, it makes it hard to go in and buy prime grade beef because you're not really, it doesn't, at least on the face of it, doesn't look like you're getting that much more bang for your buck. Plus, it's more expensive, not just for us, but for the consumer. And so if we can get away with it, we'll bring in some of the best choice that we can.
Yeah, yeah. Clayton, this has been a fun segment, and it goes fast, doesn't it?
It does.
We're fixing to shut it down. I appreciate you coming. I know you're a busy guy, and you're just like me. You know, when you're not at work, you're still working.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you coming. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
You've already got all that going for you. I hope 2023 is a great year for you. I wish you and the best, you and Katie both the best. I appreciate you coming. Terry, let's go, buddy.